This video, we're going to touch on all aspects of sleep and dreams. So the biggest thing that we see for these kiddos is difficulty sleeping alone or insomnia, changes in their sleep. The fact that they can't sleep alone is not as useful as specifics about when they can't sleep or what happens while they are sleeping. So we'll start with insomnia. Is it difficulty falling asleep? Is it difficulty staying asleep? Or is it waking too early? What time are they waking? What happens when they wake up? Are they up for a few minutes and fall back to sleep, or are they up for an hour to 2 hours and running around and wanting to play, and then they can go back to sleep? For you, are you waking up thinking about work? Are you waking up scared? Are you waking up from a bad dream and feeling fright, or waking up from like racing the heart or something like that? Any other symptoms? Waking up from needing to urinate, waking up because you have urinated and had an accident in bed. All of these specifics about insomnia are really, really helpful, especially if there's with the sleep onset. There can be an awful lot of symptoms associated with that, including like anxiety that's causing the sleep onset insomnia. So what are you thinking about? What happens when you're trying to sleep? Are you really restless in bed? Are you getting up and walking around? Or are you laying still and paralyzed with fear? Are you hot? Are you cold? All of those things can be really, really beneficial in describing insomnia.
And I would say it's important to mention with insomnia that like sleep is very multifactorial. So it's one of those harder symptoms to nail down and see in its pure form. And, blue light and timing and, hormones and all of that stuff play a role in sleep patterns. So it's a little more difficult to pin down, but not impossible.
Right. Let's shift gears to dreams and night terrors and some of the other things that can be associated around sleep. So one of the things that we didn't really touch on was with sleep onset. Do you notice twitching or tics on sleep onset, or weird, unusual movements during sleep that could go to the point of just movements of the limbs while sleeping, all the way to the point of actual sleepwalking? And if there are sleepwalking, what does that look like? What do they say? Do they see you and recognize you? Do they look at you and call out for you as if you're not there? Are they talking about things that they're seeing, ghosts or monsters that you can't see? What time of night does the sleepwalking happen? Those are all really useful symptoms for sleepwalking. What about night terrors? Can you touch on night terrors?
Yeah, night terrors are very valuable symptoms, and a lot of kiddos struggle with that. But if they're waking from the night, screaming, or they don't recognize you, very useful. And then is it happening, before or after midnight? And then do they remember, right? Do they remember in the morning that this happened, or they don't remember at all? Are they actually awake or semi-awake, or, fully asleep? And then, does it actually make them anxious? Do you see an emotional display from the night terrors?
We also want to look at not just sleep itself, but sleep's impact on symptoms overall. So does sleep improve symptoms, or does sleep worsen symptoms? Some people actually get worse from sleep. Do people have a fear of going to sleep because they have symptoms during sleep? Do they have more pain or discomfort during sleep? Do they have bad dreams that make them afraid to go to sleep? Are people better from a short nap but worse from long sleep, or vice versa, worse from a short nap but better from long sleep? We also want to take a look at sleep position. Might or might not be useful. It's not something that we're necessarily going to hang our hat on without a lot of other supporting symptoms. But if we're really getting down to like these 2 or 3 remedies can make a big difference, and this one is always better sleeping on the left side versus this one's always better sleeping on the right side, we might take that into consideration. So the position that you sleep in, left or right, belly sleep. Do you sleep with your arms up overhead? Do you have to sleep with your head covered with a pillow? How are your covers on you? Are they completely covered up to everything, completely over your head? Arms and legs sticking out, just feet sticking out? What happens during your sleep? We talked about perspiration in the last video. Are you sweating in your sleep? How often are you needing to go to the bathroom? How often are you having that nocturnal enuresis or bedwetting? Those are all really important and helpful symptoms as well.
And then do you have recurrent dreams? Do you have clairvoyant dreams, dreams that, you know, you dream stuff happens before it actually happens? Do you dream of people who have died or passed away? Things like that can be characteristic, especially if it's really reliable and you know you've had it, you know, since onset of your other symptoms.